Alright, so in about 3.5 days time, Julius will be coming back to the global side for the first time ever as a rerun banner. And so in this video, I kind of want to break down Julius once again to see if the unit is worth summoning for or not. Because I know it's kind of crazy the fact that I'm saying, is Julius even worth summoning for? But you have to take into account that the week after, Leona is going to be a thing on global. She will be arriving for the first time ever, and when she does come out, that is going to go ahead and solidify Mono Green being probably the best team in the game to run. Honestly, that's just like my honest opinion after playing JP and KR experience wise. That team is quite disgusting. And don't worry, global players, I will do a video for Leona as well, so stay tuned. But in this one, I do kind of want to talk about Julius to see if he is worth summoning for, especially for free to play, because I know that not everyone does have Julius, and then obviously you are going to try to summon for Leona as well. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Julius to see, is this unit worth summoning for now, all things considered. So if y'all want to do, drop a like, hit a sub, and let me know in the comment section, will you be summoning for Julius? Yes, no, and let me know the reason why. But let's get into it. We're going to talk about his kit, we're going to talk about his skill page, we're going to see if the unit is even worth using nowadays, especially, like I said, in about a week and a half time. You're really not going to see a lot of him, and it's just going to be mono green and mono red for the most part, okay? So when it comes to Julius's kit, I do want to talk over it, so let's go over it one more time. First skill, okay? Inflicting a 5% reduced mobility debuff onto the enemy, and then upon landing a crit, grant all allies a 5% increased mobility buff. Again, just any time the unit does have mobility and speed built into their kit, I think is always fantastic. And plus, considering the way this unit is working, he is a DPS unit. Applying like a reduced mobility debuff by 5% may not seem like a lot, but I promise you there have been many instances to where this 5% reduced mobility actually very clutch. Like, it was actually the make it or break it deal for winning the match, and I got it, so it's actually massive. And plus landing a crit, which the unit can do heavily, granting all allies a 5% increased mobility buff. It's just insane. So I love it. Again, speed and stamina, I'm very biased towards whenever they do have it built into their kit. But I mean, it's broken. I'm sure that for those who actually have Julius, you can agree with me that this is a very broken first skill to have. So I love it. Okay. Second skill, it is going to be doing a 50% chance to inflict a time stop debuff onto the enemy for 2 turns, also granting yourself a increased speed level 3 buff for 1 turn, and then inflicting a mobility depletion debuff onto a chosen enemy, and then a 60% chance to inflict a 10% reduced mobility debuff on all enemies except the chosen one. So this second part of the kit, it does come from the skill page, so kind of bear that in mind. But even just looking at the first part, which is the 50% chance to inflict a time stop, this is an AoE attack, by the way. So if you get the 50/50 chance off, it increases the cooldown of skill 2 by 1 turn, and then also freezes it from using it. So they cannot use it for pretty much 2 turns essentially, and it is a very broken skill, okay? So units that have great skill 2s, example, season 2 in the wall, yes, you really don't see her, but when you do, then you kind of shut down the unit from having any barrier or of any sort, which is broken. 2, Black Asta, having that, AoE attack, which pretty much team wipes the entire enemy, is very broken. So if you're able to proc this off onto Asta, then essentially you negate the unit from being able to completely one-tap your entire team, which is broken, okay? So those are just 2 examples, like 2 really good examples of units that have great second skills that kind of allow the unit to be very disgusting in PvP. So if you can shut that down, then you have a much better chance of being able to secure the W for yourself and winning the match, okay? Next up is granting the increased speed level 3 buff for 1 turn. Again, just allow the units to go faster, and plus with the way his passive does work, increased speed level 3 means that the unit can do even more damage, which you'll see here in just a second. So I love it. It's just, again, very broken for a unit of this caliber, which is him being a festival, right? Ultimate here, it is going to be inflicting a guaranteed stun on them for 1 turn, and then you also inflict a 30% reduced mobility debuff onto the enemy, and then if you do kill the enemy, well, you get an extra turn when you do kill them, which is honestly stupid broken. So not only if, like, okay, let's just say you don't get, you don't kill the enemy, bam, guaranteed stun for 1 turn. I mean, what more can you really ask for? There are only 2 units in the entire game that have a guaranteed stun. This is Julius was the first one, and then the second one is Black Ops, to where he does have a guaranteed stun on his combined attack, okay? So these 2 are the only 2 units in the game that have guaranteed stuns. I don't think anyone else has it. If they do, I'm so sorry, but as far as I'm concerned, these are the only 2. And then if you do apply these, then you inflict a 30% reduced mobility buff, and this is guaranteed, by the way. So if you don't kill them, you stun them, and you also push them back. But if you obviously kill them, well, you get an extra turn, and then you can maybe proc into the skill 2 afterward, which is a very, very typical combo for Julius. So again, just a disgusting unit in terms of what he can do in both PvE and PvP, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And plus, something you have to bear in mind is that his entire kit, okay, his entire kit, the way that he works, he is viable in PvE, PvP, raids, etc., etc. Just again, because he does have reduced mobility, you can apply this towards guild boss, because there are a lot of PvP units, a lot of units in general that are mainly geared towards PvP and not so PvE, but Julius is an exception to those because he does have things in his kit that does make him viable for PvE and PvP. Because, like, for example, let's just talk about the guild boss, right? Guild boss was one of the constants to where you were able to kind of apply the mobility depletion and also slow them down to where you can spam Lotus, Julius, and there's like they never get a turn in, and then that was an easy run that you could do on that guild boss. So again, just another great example of why Julius is so broken, and in regards to both PvE and PvP. So I love it. And then the combined attack here is, if you do have a buff, attack after granting a 30% increased damage dealt, which is fantastic. More damage, I'll take it. And then you also inflict a guaranteed 10% reduced mobility debuff onto the enemy, which is always fantastic. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, okay, as you can see, yes, he is broken, okay, 100%. So not only are you just applying hella damage from them, but you're also constantly finding ways to slow down the enemy, stunning them, you know, doing whatever shenanigan it is to allow Julius to just constantly get in attacks. Constantly. That's like his main mechanic, and I love it. It's very broken, okay? Skill 2, I'm sorry, not skill 2, but passive wise, this is the LR passive, right? Okay, so this is the LR passive. For every 15 speed, grants a 3% increased damage dealt. Every turn, grant time accumulation, which stacks up to 5 times. Time accumulation is increased damage dealt by the ultimate by 10%. So if you get 5 stacks of this, which is going to be very easy, all it takes is just 5 people just to go in PvE or PvP, then your ultimate is going to be at a 50% damage increase, which is just crazy broken to have. Again, if you build this unit with high crit rate and high crit damage, he is able to do like a crap ton of damage. Now, if you're thinking maybe he can do like millions of damage, he's not really meant to do like that in comparison to a unit like Black Oster or whatnot. But still, he can easily just get the job done. And the way he works is like, if you don't kill them, well, again, you're still finding ways, which is just mobility depletion, to apply onto the enemy, just making them never get a turn in. And then you can just constantly spam your attacks, have high crit rate, high crit damage, and just by the time they go, they're at like 1 HP or they're already dead. So I love it in that sense. And then the LR+2 passive is, if you are defeated for the first time upon receiving damage, you do grant yourself temporal reversal, which is going to be a full res. So the res is going to be at a 100% max HP when you do have it at max dupe. If you have it at LR+2, he's only reviving with 45% max HP. So again, just he finds a way to always come back and just do his shenanigans, which is fantastic. And then what is this? The pride. Okay, so the passive is 10% increase all attack. This is coming from skill page, by the way. So the skill page is the second part here, as you can see, and then obviously 10% increase all attack. So now let's talk about whether or not is he worth something for. In regards to PvE, yes, I still think this unit is one of the best units you can take for PvE because of the way he is working. They really have not made any piece of content, and they really won't for the most part, as far as I know, because I'm thinking of the JP and Kara timeline. They really don't make any content that counters Julius or makes him not viable by any means, because they can they always have stuff to where you can apply the reduced mobility, you know, etc., which is perfect for Julius and Lotus, right? Which is why those two units in PvE are some of the best ones to always run it, and like they're pretty much universal until they come out with content that negates, you know, mobility or stamina increase or decrease, right? So for PvE wise, I think he's great. I think he is still a unit that you can use if you are struggling, maybe from Hall Illusions to Guild Boss to whatever it is you're farming PvE wise. He is still a unit you can definitely take. And so for PvE, I say yes, definitely must come in. Now let's talk about PvP, because I'm pretty sure that again a lot of you guys are going to be something for Julius in regards to PvP. So for PvP wise, Unfortunately, as much as I love the boy Julius, you will not see this unit a lot in PvP after Mereoleona does come out. That's just the honest truth, and I'm pretty sure those who play JP and Kara, you can agree with me 100% that once Mereoleona does come out, you really will not see this unit. The only the main teams, okay, and I promise you, this is 100% fact, the main teams that you will see in PvP in about a week and a half time will be the mono green team and the mono red. You really will not see Julius as often as much as you think, because again, once Mereoleona comes out, mono green is going to be so disgusting, and just having, you know, type advantage over Julius is going to be such a big advantage that obviously is like, well, why would I not run mono green, right? So as much as I love Julius, his mono blue team unfortunately does not give him any kind of protection like how the mono green team does or the mono red team. So when it comes to a blue defending unit, you really don't have any except Mars, and Mars is kind of like a selfish unit that really does not do anything outside of for himself, if that makes sense, right? Where in comparison, you have units such as Charlotte that does offer that barrier for the mono green team. You have Black also, which gives him the, you know, skill 2 of 175% defense increase, and then if those units die, well, he does have a very stupid mechanic of having the anti-magic state that pretty much allows him to go in and OHKO any team, right? So Julius, unfortunately, he is going to get dethroned as one of the best festival units to run in PvP, whereas you will have Black Asta, Charlotte, Witch Queen, Mereoleona, those crazy cracked ass units that will just be completely dominating over Julius. So I think in regards to PvE, if you do want to summon for him, yes, he is fantastic. And plus, bear in mind, I know like a lot of people actually have Julius and you don't have skill page. If okay, I will say if you are in that predicament, because again, having a skill page is honestly very broken, I think it will be good enough to go ahead and summon, do a few summons to get the skill page. Again, I really hate when people try to chase the skill page because it's just not ideal. If there is a skill page banner for Julius, then maybe summon on that only. Don't even bother going for the unit, because I'm pretty sure you might have him maxed out already. So I mean, again, it's kind of worthless at that point. So I would say go for the skill page if you have it. I'm sorry, if you don't have it, so that way you do have his skill page. But for those who are, you know, trying to get Julius and you don't have him, I think just getting the one copy is good enough. Again, you're probably going to use them in PvE more than PvE, and then after that, you can save all your resources towards Mereoleona, because again, that unit is just beyond stupid in terms of what she can do. So that is pretty much Julius in terms of should you summon for him. I know this was kind of like a long rambling video, but that's just the honest truth of what this unit can do. And I'm just giving you straight up, right? I could honestly just like clickbait this video and just say that, oh yeah, Julius is definitely worth summoning for, go max out, get his skill page max out, etc. But that's just not the honest truth, right? So I'm saving you free to play players because I know that a lot of people were planning on summoning on Julius, but I kind of want to give you the bigger picture and the long run of this unit being used for PvP. I still use them on JP and Kara, right? I still use this unit, but to be honest with you, a lot of teams that can they deal with Julius quite easily, okay? I'll just tell you straight up. So if you want to use some PvP, I think that you're gonna have to like build them hella crazy to where the unit can just one-tap everything in his path. I mean, when it comes to Julius versus Black Asta, again, Julius does have that advantage over Black Asta, you know, type advantage and everything. But when it comes to Mereoleona, you are going to struggle because, again, you're probably going to be facing a lot of max dupe Mereoleonas to where the unit will be getting guaranteed burns on you every time the unit is hit. It's just like, well, GG. So either you end up dying because of burn stacks, or you end up dying because of either Hatred Fauna or Mereoleona or whoever it may be, and at that point you lose one of your best DPS units for your team, okay? But I'll go ahead and end it there. Let me know your thoughts. Hopefully this video wasn't boring for you guys, but I will do a Mereoleona video next, so stay tuned. But again, let me know your thoughts, and will you be summoning? I think it's just best case just to have the unit. Again, all you need for free to play is just pull the unit, okay? Because you can always max dupe them later on. So for meta wise, for PvP, Julius will not be used. You'll use him in PvE, and then obviously if you get Mereoleona maxed out, then you can apply your extra universal dupe shards towards Julius over time, because again, the unit is still great to have and definitely worth using at max dupe. But I think it's probably best to go ahead and save your investment for Mereoleona. Just get the one copy for Julius. That's all I'm telling you guys, okay? But on to there. Y'all take care, have a good one. Peace.